Hello, everyone. It's been a minute. My name is Mike. I'm joined by Ray.
Hello.
And you might think that this is an episode of Unscripted Gaming, but not so fast, my friend. This is Creed Got Robbed. Our podcast title for when we watch a movie and we need a place to rant about how it sucked. And this is that space. This is that space. If that's not your cup of tea, I suggest
the poetic opening of the beer in the background.
Unsubscribe.
So, I want to ask you a question, Mike.
Fire away, my friend.
What is your wish?
I just made a face. This isn't actually going to be a video, but I just made a face at Ray and
Just want to know what your wish is.
My wish is that I had the 2.5 hours that this movie was back.
Yeah, let's not bury the lead. We watched.
Oh, I guess we should talk about the movie that we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
We watched the Wonder Woman movie, everybody. The hot new Wonder Woman movie. And we're going to talk about it.
Wonder Woman 1984.
As long as we can.
This will not be a 2.5 hour podcast. I refuse. I will just, like, if it hits 151 minutes, I'm just hitting the stop button and we're submitting it live. That'll be the end of it.
I think that is fair.
Can we get that out of the way first? Because in our separate chat, Mike was just aghast at how long this movie was. 151 minutes. And there was a couple days where Mike was so aghast that he started sending us movies that are better and shorter. Such as Infinity War. It's longer than Infinity War.
Like, okay, so I'm just gonna think of a good movie off the top of my head. The Shining. The Shining is 2 hours and 26 minutes. So
is it
it's
really?
about 4 minutes. Let's just say 4 minutes shorter than Wonder Woman 84, WWE 84.
Mm-hmm.
And
Alien is shorter.
Alien is like 40 minutes shorter than Wonder Woman. It is just like, okay, for reference, Wonder Woman is 2 hours and 35 minutes.
That's so.
It's just like.
The point we're getting at here is if your movie is going to be longer than some of the best films ever made, you better have a lot to say in that 2 hours and 40 some odd minutes. Oh, it's longer than Rise of Skywalker, and that Rise of Skywalker desperately needed to be longer.
Yeah, it needed to be long to have an attempt of saving itself to be good, which it did not accomplish, but that's a separate podcast.
2 of them, which you can listen to. We recorded them last year.
We don't have to talk about that podcast. It's Star Wars is for babies, and that's okay. We're allowed to like baby stuff. And I guess like that's kind of the first point I want to make here is just I feel like it kind of dovetails into like the rest of my thoughts on this movie is that this movie is basically like just like the worst of it is every criticism of the superhero genre that is entirely founded, that are all entirely correct. They're all too long, like all the third acts always suck because they're just like a gray, brown, dark CGI slugfest that sucks. Like it is everything wrong with a superhero movie in one movie. And the first thing it does is thinks of itself so highly that it needs to run for it has 90 minutes of story that it stretches into 2.5 hours. And that's insane to me.
I want to say, if you have not seen this movie, full spoilers, but we're not spoiling anything that is worth your time. This is how much I wanted to watch this movie because Mike said I have a friend in the separate Discord that said that this movie to them was worse than Batman versus Superman, and I perked my ears up. I'm like, "Ooh, Disney shit the bed. I mean, that Disney DC shit the bed again. Ooh, this must be great." And they were like really disappointed by the feminist message behind it. I was like, "What? A Wonder Woman movie with a bad feminist message? Now I must see this. This must be trash." And then Mike hinted that this was actually worse than Batman vs Superman. Having now watched it, I can empirically say this movie is actually worse than Batman vs Superman, because Batman vs Superman was at least entertaining to watch. This was dreck. This was bad. Here's how long this movie drags out. And I made a mark of this because I remarked on it out loud while watching the movie. There's a part where you see Wonder Woman near the beginning of the movie, like you do, the superhero introduction near the beginning. You don't see Wonder Woman, not Diana Price, Wonder Woman. You don't see Wonder Woman again until an hour and 10 minutes later. That's a whole like feature-length film happens to go by the time you see Wonder Woman again. And by the time you do see her again, she's in this really bad Egyptian military fight scene that has its own questions to it.
Yeah, it's just, this is the part where I put in some like epic rant that I have, but like, I'm not even like mad.
Oh,
I'm
mad because I have to pay
like,
for it.
I feel so hollow, and it just like this movie is just, it is the most like microwaved like. Just like there's so many things to like. So there are a lot of things that I think. That's the weird thing about this movie is that what I'm sure we'll get into is like there are a lot of things that are just like very typical to the genre that like every superhero movie does, and all of them suck at, because that's just how they're just all bad because of that. Like just that's how superhero movies go, and that's just so they all suck because of that. Mm-hmm. But like unique to that, there are just some things in this movie that are just so fucking weird. That like
the plot, the whole plot about wishing.
Yeah, like, and that's something that could like they're interesting ideas, but there's some. It's just like the weirdest thing about this movie is that it feels like it is a first draft. Like someone wrote a first draft, and then instead of being revised or improved in any way, they were like, we have to film every single one of these scenes as written right now. Don't cut anything.
I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to bring up I have a list. It's very rare I walk into Creed Got Robbed with a list of positives and negatives.
Yes.
This list has no
folks.
This list has no positives on it. I want to let you guys know.
It's very rare that we walk into a movie, a Creed, with positives and negatives. Usually it's just negative.
No, that's not true. There are several Creed Got Robbed. Okay, the last Creed Got Robbed we did was Uncut Gems, and that was just a love podcast that we just did.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to hear it. That's a great movie. And that's why I wanted to watch.
That's a great movie to Google and figure out how long it is. Let me just check real quick.
I guarantee it's not 2.5. It's not 2 hours and 40 minutes. It can't.
Uncut Gems is 2 hours and 15 minutes.
It does what it needs to do in that 2 hours and 15 minutes.
And it has 2 hours and 15 minutes of story.
That's a tight 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Exactly.
That's a solid 2 hours and 15 minutes.
A very dense. This just feels like the most frosting filled 2.5 hours movie. It's like.
Okay, so.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
List. First of all, Kirsten Wiig's character, whose name I don't remember, she ends up being the villain Cheetah. But I forget the name of her character in the movie. I don't care. The question I asked, are they really pulling the nerdy trope where she gets all ugly and all of a sudden she changes like one outfit and takes off her glasses and all of a sudden she's the hot woman? It's like, is that where we're going? Is that the sort of level of like basic Budweiser level? This this plot feels like it's from the 1980s. Is what's pretty bad.
That's the other thing too. That is like, so this movie's called WW84 because it's set in 1984, and it is something that I'm gonna say here is I did not expect to say, but it's really weird. I did not expect the Call of Duty campaign to have a more compelling reason to be set in the 80s than this movie.
This movie,
like,
it's set in the 80s and gets a lot of things like fantastically wrong. Like, granted, I was not born in 1984, so take whatever I'm gonna say with the biggest grain of salt. But unlike the people that made this movie, I know how to read a history book. Like, they go to Egypt at one point in the movie. Oh yeah, look, I want to cover a major plot point that I had a problem with. First of all, like, they find a wishing stone, and one of the wishes that Wonder Woman makes is like, I wish I had my boyfriend back. I have so many problems with that like 60 years later she can't let go of this dead flame. Like, you're supposed to be a woman that's like fully empowered and you don't need no man, and you've spent like twice my lifetime so far pining over one.
You did not
person.
find not one guy, not one of them. Not one other man.
It's Steve Trevor or no one. Damn, woman, come on, girl.
She was too busy sitting out World War II.
Yeah, that's another thing. She like does nothing with the character of Wonder Woman. She's just like, no, I'm just saying. I
didn't see any.
Pop in and out every so often, rescue some kids, and then I go about my day working at a museum. It's like, yeah, that's Superman is a little braver than you are, and he's kind of a jerk. He's 100% of a jerk. Anyway, my problems all start when Steve Trevor comes back. Because she wishes him back. One, when she wishes him back, he like takes over someone's body. It's like, so we just fucked over that person, and oh my gosh, like later on they have sex. Like, did you just have sex with someone else's body? There's a lot of really fucked up consent things going on here.
Stuff like that is just so weird. Like, for him, it would not be beyond the ordinary for him to just like to make him kind of like apparate out of something. Like, that happens with nukes in this movie, as we'll get to. And then, so I think not to like jump around a bunch, but like, so it's weird. So like you said, like he's taken over the spirit somehow of this random other person.
Why does
we have no idea, no connection to or anything.
Why does the wish work that way? Those wishes don't work that way for any way else.
Yeah, it's like, wait, it's not like the guy who wished for coffee. Like, it's his flower a flower pot on his desk turned into coffee.
By the way, that was funny when he like wished for coffee. He was like, "Oh, the coffee's a little hot." That totally reminded me of Treehouse of Horror.
That's one of the best things in the movie.
It's like all a Treehouse of Horror
from
with
there.
Homer ordered the turkey sandwich with the monkey paw. He's like, the turkey's a little dry. The turkey's a little dry. Oh, God. What? Who has cursed me with this befuddled thing? Oh, something like that. But that they could have went with that. Instead, it's no, Steve Trevor comes back, and she loses her powers.
So then the movie happens, and then at the end, it's like Wonder Woman, it's Christmas, where they're enjoying the season. And then the guy who Steve was possessing, we do not know this person at all. No connection. He just comes out of nowhere and it's like, it's really nice out here. Yeah. And she like kind of looks at him.
Oh, she's staring a hole into him.
She looks at it like,
She gives him bedroom eyes.
Yes, and it is so weird. Are we supposed to think this is cute or not? Just like reminisce about the fact that like this is kind of fucked up a little bit.
A little bit?
Like,
no,
weird.
Okay, I'm gonna make it fucked up because people that watched it probably didn't understand how fucked up it was. Here's how fucked up this is, because my mind just goes there. Take everything that happened in that scene and reverse the sexes. Wonder Woman is Wonder Man. He wishes for his girlfriend that he's been pining for 60 years back. She takes over the body of another woman.
Some other girl.
Some other random woman that just happens to be single and she's doing well for herself, and like Wonder Man has sex with her repeatedly and goes on adventures. It's like, there's some weird consent boundaries that are not
Yeah,
being
like
addressed in this movie.
what are they clearly did not think through the ethics of like Steve getting this guy killed.
Right, he gets so close to so many times.
Like, I'm sure that there's I feel like I feel like something people are gonna say about this movie. I was like, oh, if you turn your brain off, it's a fun movie, and I'm like, no,
Nope.
If you should be movies that are good, like think about these details and build them into their movie to make them a better movie. Like,
there's turn your brain off and enjoy the lights. And then there's this movie doesn't have a bunch of flashing lights. It's just them talking for an hour and a half.
Yeah, and
about
like all
nothing.
and like so it's like they don't even like to turn my brain off is for me to just not enjoy the movie. Like it's like fuck you. They should make a better movie. There's more interest. It has more interesting dynamics and it has more compelling elements in its script than instead of me just being like, oh, lights.
I want a lasso of truth.
That being said, the action in this movie sucks.
Yeah, it's also not like well choreographed.
It's just
either.
like floaty, Again, like I don't like just to make a kind of fair comparison here. Like the Marvel movies are also pretty goddamn stupid sometimes, but they don't have just like weird illogical inconsistencies like Kristen Wiig telling someone to stay warm, telling a homeless person, no, stay warm, and then Trevor 5 minutes later being like, oh, there are fireworks because it's the 4th of July.
In Washington, D.C.
In Washington, D.C., which is like a swamp, a hellish swamp during the summer. Like,
why was he wearing a coat at night?
It's just like weird stuff like that. And going back to my earlier point, I'm jumping all over the place. I'm sorry, but like
it's fine.
The action in it, I will say like there's some pretty rough action in the MCU sometimes, but I feel like Civil War, Winter Soldier that's what the Wonder Woman movie should. The Wonder Woman action sequences should feel like Captain American sequences. Like, they did a really good job, I think, like giving Captain America like physicality. So like when he, is like whipping the shield or like does some like crazy flip kick to like KO Spider-Man in the airport, like there's a physicality to it that they really have a good. Okay, favorite example actually, like when he's chasing after Bucky and he turns a corner and like he turns so hard that he like crashes and he cracks the drywall with the shield when he's like making a sharp turn.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that.
That's
that is
good
cool as shit. It grounds him. It lets you know that this guy is like really fast and strong, and they just don't do that at all in this movie. So Wonder Woman just feels like really like she's like as light as a feather, but like it's not like who she really is as a character. You know what I mean? Like,
speaking of character, that first 10 minutes of the movie, let's just pretend we're the editors. You could cut that whole first 10 minutes where they're in the Amazonian Olympics, the Themyscira Olympics. That entire thing didn't need to exist. That was all a waste of time. It all leads up to like a message at the end of it.
Like it's a really, really it's a really long sequence to just make one like kind of like one parentheses ONE thing that you draw from that sequence. Like there's no setup of like maybe that could have been maybe a good way to like kind of build on that would like maybe set up like the stone, maybe set up the like this deity that who was responsible for it. Like make something if you're gonna invest like a solid 15 minutes into the sequence into something that is directly contradicted by the first Wonder Woman film, because apparently she wasn't trained as a child, but apparently she was.
Is that true?
Yeah, in the first Wonder Woman movie, they're like, we didn't train her as a child. And then here she is like fucking doing ninja, American Ninja Warrior courses.
Okay, so all right, it doesn't
like
shock me.
if you're gonna do that, like make that screen time worth it, and not like it's just if that's all they were gonna do, it's
bloated.
It's just
it's
there's
absolute.
so much.
I wanted to get back to Steve Trevor because one,
Yes. Sorry.
I actually liked Steve Trevor in the movie. Like
He's great.
I'll watch anything with Chris Pine in it. I don't care what anyone
Chris
says.
Pine is one of the best. He might be the best Chris.
He might be the best Chris.
He might be the best Chris.
I don't know. You were just talking about Chris Evans, and I won't
Chris
have you
Evans.
badmouth
It's
Chris
like
Evans.
it's like 1A 1B for me.
Okay, all right.
Sometimes Chris, yeah, it depends on the day. If you ask, where you catch me, but like, but he has like he's the like one of the few saving graces here. Like when they see the big airplane and he's like, look at the gams on that girl, and it's just like,
okay,
that's the
you brought
funniest.
it up. I have to get into the airplane. I have to get into that entire 15-minute sequence.
Okay, break it down.
Okay, first of all, Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, she works at the Smithsonian. Fine, whatever. She keycard badges into like a government airport, maybe an airfield, like a military airfield, and they're looking for a plane to fly to Egypt. Let's start with how many problems you have with like, I'm a museum was that curator for the government,
Yeah.
thus I have access to everything involved with the federal government. No, that's not how that works, even to start. Number two, when they bring him onto the airfield and he brings up the GAMS message, they're looking at like an F-11 Aardvark. They're like, yeah, we'll just take this plane all the way to Egypt. You can't take a military combat plane across the world when it's that small. It won't have the range. That kind of like, that like set me on edge. And then I was like, okay, maybe they will, and Diana knows how to fly it. No. Steve says, don't worry, I used to fly planes during World War I. I can fly this combat jet from 1960. And he just starts flipping all the switches and turns it on and gets it ready and starts like flying it like he's been flying it for years.
Yeah, like I believe, like you said, I remember you remarked, no offense to Steve, but he did not fly a plane. He flew a lawnmower with wings.
Yeah, that was the last thing he flew. The last thing he flew was like invented for that war, and the concept of flight was like 3 years old. How dare you hop into like a jet? And that's it. I'm gonna take this to Egypt. I got this shit. I cannot believe anyone would think. Also, I just had so many issues with the Steve Trevor like fish out of water thing, because all they did was take the first movie of Wonder Woman being fish out of water and they just reversed the roles, but they made it longer and shittier and made Steve even dumber for it.
Yeah, and like I think he's got some good like fun lines, but here and there, but he
when they fly the jet through fireworks, and Steve is like, "What's that?" And she's like, "Oh, it's the 4th of July. These are fireworks." And Steve's like, "Whoa!" Like, you're telling me you've never seen fireworks before. Fireworks have been around for literally thousands of years. You've seen them at least once, and also you've been to war. You know what explosions look like. As a matter of fact, we could go watch the last movie and see you setting off bombs. Like, he fought the god Ares, firing explosion. Okay.
Ray.
Nope. I have to go on. There's more. There's even more.
You gotta do it.
How did they land in Egypt? Where did they land a U.S. military combat plane in Egypt? There's a scene where they're fighting in Egypt on those military vehicles, those ATVs. Yeah. Steve gets dragged into one, and then Wonder Woman looks behind her and sees that Steve's has taken over the car. You're telling me Steve Trevor, with like nothing on him, took out a combat vehicle full of armed uniformed soldiers in seconds? How? Why? And now he's just driving the vehicle.
It's just like, and like I want to make it clear that I don't think we're being like, why is there space? Why is there sound in Star Wars movies? If they were in space, there shouldn't
death
be
by
any
1,000 cuts.
Like exactly. Like we're not people who are usually like, I think this like unfairly pedantic about like, things in movies that they overlook to make the movie work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I really am pretty. I like to think I'm pretty willing to, give a benefit of the doubt on stuff like that. Because if you tell a good story well, you get a pass for things like that.
Sure.
Like that's like no one's gonna dock Star Wars for like accuracy because who gives a shit? It's a great story. Like, what do you
Star
want?
Wars or something like that.
Yeah, like the first
Yeah,
Star
sure.
Wars.
Yeah.
But like, there are just so many things that
This
movie does that are just like weird like that. It's just
another
just kind of like
another
this is
example.
gonna sound mean, but like it just kind of it's the kind of stuff that makes you think like they just didn't care.
No.
Like they just wrote they like someone watched this and may have noted all these things, but they just didn't bother to either didn't think it was a problem or knew it was and didn't care. Either way, it leads to the movie just feeling weird.
That whole jet sequence was just a setup, just so they can establish that they turned that F-11 Aardvark into the invisible jet. Because Wonder Woman in the last 60 years has like been learning how to just make stuff invisible, and so she said the last time I made something invisible, it was a coffee cup, and I lost it forever. It's like that's kind of fun, but
yeah, and it's just like weird because she starts saying it.
yeah,
and it's not something that is like set up earlier in the movie.
no, it just comes out of fucking nowhere.
Like, it's like if you don't know, they only do it because it's like a referential. Like everyone knows, like Wonder Woman, Invisible Jet is like a thing people know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's no, it's like there's no payoff. There's no like real payoff of it being the thing because no one's like, wow, the Invisible Jet. Oh my god, like because. It's not like there's no setup or build up to it. Like we don't see her like use the ability earlier in the movie and like instead of telling us about the coffee cup thing, show us the coffee cup, like stuff like that. That is just like, well, what? It's
Imagine
weird.
if you're watching Captain America, the first Avenger, the first Captain America, and he's in World War II in that scene, one of the scenes he's in World War II, and his shield starts deflecting like high caliber bullets. And he says to Bucky, "Don't worry, my shield can deflect bullets because it's made of vibranium." And it's like, I'm sorry, what? No, the movie would be so shitty if he just said that to you, as opposed to the build-up where they showed much earlier why they have the shield, where'd they get it, where'd they get the vibranium, why he painted it with a star on it. It's that sort of
like why we know it's bulletproof.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
stuff like that, like
because Agent Carter shot at it to prove it was bulletproof.
Because
Shit,
she had reason, because she was mad. Like it's just stuff like that they just.
You brought up something that I didn't even think about. When Wonder Woman in the movie learns to fly, it's because she like renounced her wish. We haven't even talked about like the plot of the wishing, the monkey's paw dreamstone. When she renounces her wish and Steve Trevor disappears and she's like, now I have my powers back, like I'm fully powered, and lassos onto a clock tower, and now she's just like in the air and she remembers what Steve says about how easy it is to fly a plane. You're like, you just glide on wind currents. She's like, oh, what if I just did that as a human, or whatever she is, god, demigod, and she just does it. She just flies now. From now on, she can fly, and she's like, now I can lasso onto jets, which I was commenting, like, how long is that lasso? It's as long as it needs to be, apparently, because she's like near ground level and lassos onto a low-flying jet, and then lassos onto lightning bolts.
Then she's like, oh, wait, I forgot the magic armor. I need to go back to my apartment like 3 blocks away from where I was running.
They tried to set up that magic armor. They set up like it's so powerful, defended against the armies of man, so the Themyscirans can escape. And then she gets into one battle with Cheetah, and Cheetah just starts ripping it to shreds. And it's like, all right, it's not that great. God damn.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. Is just like, I've said this a million times already, but there's just like setup for that stuff is like they've kind of been building to this armor. It's in the poster, so I'm like, okay, they're gonna do some cool stuff with this. Like, and no, like nothing cool happens with it. Like, no like cool flying sequence. No, like she doesn't like fuck up all the dudes in a cool way with it. Like, compare it to you know, if we're talking about movies that are 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes, like,
yeah.
Compare it to like Thor's entrance into Wakanda. Like it is not. It should have felt something like if it's gonna be as like that's what a good build up and payoff is. Is like Thor spends this entire movie chasing this hammer and then finally shows up at the right time with like with the Thing.
Yeah.
And it's like a really exciting moment. And this movie just is, I guess, it does a lot of like, this is important because we said it is, and then they just don't show you how, like, you don't actually get the payoff for it being cool as hell. Like the poster, and I think like I know we still have more to talk about, but like my takeaway is that if the poster and the trailer for the movie are combined are better than your movie sucks.
Yes. The poster is exciting looking. Like, that would be a cool, like,
it's a great
piece.
poster.
Yeah.
It's like, it's got all those really cool colors that are fucking not in the movie at all.
No.
Like, the marketing is very good. They wanted you to think that this is a Thor Ragnarok type thing, and it is not at all in the slightest.
No. Oh, God, no. 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 Where's your Jeff Goldblum? I love Jeff Goldblum. Long-time listeners to the podcast might know that. She does use, I guess the armor is electric proof, because how she defeats Cheetah is like a live wire gets caught into the water that they're fighting in, and it shocks and almost kills Cheetah, but it does nothing to her. Like, I want to know where, like, again,
yeah, like I was just like, isn't this gonna kill Wonder Woman? And then it's like, no. And then I was like, oh, I'm stupid for thinking that could be a problem. Like, I'm stupid for that. I'm sorry.
Okay, now I got to talk about Cheetah, Kristen Wiig's character. Max Lord, the main villain, he just wants to be powerful. And he finds out some way to get, like, the stone, the Dreamstone. By the way, I didn't know it was called the Dreamstone. They don't call it that, and I don't think. I might be wrong, but I had to look up the wiki to see what that damn rock is.
Yeah, in the movie they call it Rocky McWish Face.
It's a monkey's paw. That's all it is. You make a wish, and then it makes something else go bad. Like, you wish for a cup of coffee, and the coffee's a little too hot. Which, by the way,
again,
that's like
one of the funniest thing in the entire movie. Is some guy being
that's
like,
so
coffee,
sad.
How
Too.
hot? Like, it's really funny.
Compared to everything else that's written, I bet an intern wrote that and said, wouldn't this be kind of fun just to show off the wish? And someone said, yeah, I guess, kid. Ends up being like the best line in the movie.
Yeah, whoops. They accidentally wrote the best joke in the entire movie.
But everyone else is like wishing for stuff because Max Lord like says, I want to be the Dreamstone. And what was his negative monkey's paw of that? Like, it's supposed to like take his life force every time someone grants a wish. But there's zero payoff for that. Like, he doesn't die. He actually convinces the plot contrivances to get there. He convinces the entire world to, like, make a wish on him. And it's supposed to be taking his life force, but I guess they forgot that plot point because all it does is make him so powerful that Wonder Woman can't even punch him to stop him when he's about to... What is he about to do at the end of the movie? Mike, help me. What is he doing? He's just like in this glowing golden light, and Wonder Woman's like, no, stop. And then I'm like, what's going to happen? Is something bad going to go down?
That is a great question. I'm trying to think of the quickest. So, because Chitara wanted to stop Wonder Woman because she wanted to... She didn't want to renounce her wish. Max just wanted to, I think, get more wish power to infinity because he liked wish power, I think. That's kind of all we have to go off of.
They never establish what happens if he gets everyone in the world to wish on him. I guess he gets more powerful, but then what? To what end? Like, what is it you trying to... Maybe he's trying to save the world, Wonder Woman. Maybe you're the dick. I don't know.
Like, it's kind of... It's, again, like, it's just, like, hard to even talk about some of the other things that we usually talk about a movie, whether we like it or hate it. Like...
Because there's so many plot contrivances.
Like, it's hard to even talk about, like, the story decisions just because, like, the structure of the story itself is so just all over the place that it's, like... I can't even begin to assess the quality of what is here because it's the structure is so laborious and in the way, and that like I don't know whose fault it is that I don't give a hoot what's happening in this third act. You know what I mean? Like
I got a major.
I'm not liking it, but I couldn't tell you why.
So remember when Kristen Wiig's character says, "I want to be like Diana," and she starts slowly like turning into and having the powers of Wonder Woman, which is
Yeah.
fine. Remember in the Marine One, I think it is, the presidential helicopter. Yeah, he gets into the president's office in White House, and that's a whole awful, awful, terrible scene.
Oh, we got to talk about this final sequence too. Oh my god.
Okay, we will. Ew, gross. But on Marine One, she says, "Well, I want to be a predator, but I already used my wish." They bring up like you only get one wish. They go out of their way, and she says, "I already used my one wish." And Max Lord says, "Well, I'm feeling very generous right now, so you can go ahead and make another wish." It's like, back up. You spent the last half hour of this movie saying, "I need more wishes. You make another
Yeah.
wish." I wish
Yeah,
for the
because
coffee.
that's the thing is like he
Damn.
couldn't wish off of like, because other people couldn't wish off. Like that's the thing is like that's what the whole point of like he needed other people to make wishes because.
But he gave Cheetah 2 wishes. He just said, "You have 2 wishes."
Exactly. It's like so. I'm assuming like it just is. They don't really give. Well, it's like they kind of establish the mechanics of how it works, but then they just change it and kind of go, who cares?
Yeah.
It's like we need her to look like a CGI dumb thing in the third act, so that's what's gonna happen. Instead of how she looked in then, which was great and fine.
She looked like the character from Cats. One of the cats.
Yeah, it's just why you went full cats? Why'd you do it, man? You didn't have to do that.
did. It's just Kristen Wiig naked in a cat suit. Are you guys don't see it, but Mike is scratching his head like a cat.
Yeah. I think this ending is particularly hilarious because
it's so rough to watch.
Because like there's a guy, it's so cringe. Like there's a guy with like goofy hair standing behind the presidential like White House podium, being like, "I can give you what you want. Just ask for it and I will give it to you. I will give you what you want. It's me. I am what you want." And you're just like, man, is this going to be a thing? And then the movie's like, oh, it's definitely going to be a thing.
It absolutely is. Not even burying the lead.
And just like, when he's like, yes, give me all of your powers. I love this. Yes, thank you, everyone. You're the most beautiful. I love it. And then Wonder Woman looks, no joke, fucking looks directly into the camera and is like, you don't actually want your dreams to come true. Wishing for things is bad. Tell the truth. And like she's like fucking dead eye right into the camera while this is happening, and I'm just I was like, I cannot fucking believe this.
I actually paused the movie to make a comment on like her eyeshadow and liner is on point. You know what I mean?
It's great. Looks great.
Yeah.
But
they
like,
did her makeup well.
And then Wonder Woman turns every TV in the world from Fox News to MSNBC, and that's how she saves the day. That's basically that's what the movie is saying happens, and I could not fucking believe it.
There were two
rules. Funny.
There were 2 rules they broke with the Dreamstone that as I was watching this, I'm like, did you guys forget to read what your own story is about? 1, you have to either be touching the Dreamstone to make your wish, and he was broadcasting on a TV to them, and they make a point in the movie to say when he's trying to steal that particle beam technology from the president, he's like, yeah, it takes over all viewing screens in the world, TV or otherwise, and makes it so that it's beaming to them, and we can reach out and touch people. And Max Lord's like, oh, you mean I could touch everyone in the world? And the president's like, well, no, not really. And he says, close enough. And then he walks off, and it's like, if I use this tech, I can reach out and touch people and make them grant wishes. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. That you've explicitly said that's not how that works. If the photons of light touching like the stone, whether the stone's a human or a rock, work, why can't I just constantly look at the rock at any given time and make a wish and then it come true?
Just what? Like even just you could just use them like this is the kind of stuff that like it's just so weird. Like why can't I mean because they make the point of him they focus so hard on like he needs the physical connection.
Yes, he needs
that
to
that
touch
is what
them.
does it. And like like when he becomes the stone, like maybe they can make it to like maybe just if they can find out like oh the sound of like anyone who can hear my voice could make a wish and I would be able to if I can maybe
That's
something
so absurd.
just something like just some kind of like can I mean it is literally hand waved in the movie.
Oh, even
Like they don't.
I got a bigger hand wave for you.
Yeah, go for
When
it.
he convinces everyone, listen to me, put your faith in me, and make your wish. And so you have, I brought this up to you like earlier, like after I watched the movie, when he convinces everyone to make their wish, and the only thing you see, and the only thing they show is like completely selfish wishes, like I wish you were dead, or like I wish this person would go back to their own country.
Wish all the
I wish I
damn
was a
Irish
king.
were out of England.
That was so
Which
lame.
is cool. That's a thing. That's
Yeah.
a thing they put in the movie.
I wish you would go back to your own country. He's all right. Well,
It's like,
whatever.
oh, it's really interesting that it didn't make a movie about like the 80s and like America's allies in the 80s. Oh wait, it's people doing people with death squads. Oh wait, that's not family friendly. Whoopsie. Oh no.
You do see a bunch of Irish people get like assailed by the police to get
People in
deported.
green shirts.
Yeah. Which is weird and dumb and oh fuck that. But you only see the selfish wishes. So I was talking with you about this, and I'm now say it to the podcast world. What about the people with like super unselfish wishes? Like, man, I don't care what happens to me. I just want like, I want this person that's like suffering with cancer to be better. Like, I want their cancer gone. And Wonder Woman like staring at the camera. Reveal your truth.
It's like you're a bad person for wanting that.
And it's like
You need
that
to-
person
for-
is
for
not going
wishing
to
for
renounce
that.
their wish. You can't depend on everyone in the world giving the selfish opportunity to make a wish to then renounce it because you asked them nicely. No, even the most selfish fucking person is going to be like, I don't know, what's the highest number I know in the top of my head? The person, I don't know, $5 billion. Give me $5 billion. Wonder Woman, you don't really want that. Yes, I do. I actually want that. I'm not renouncing this wish. Fuck the world.
Or like, again, like, what if I wish for a world where, like, we treat humans with life with dignity and insert my dream world that you people can probably put together because you're smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why can't I just wish for that? And when Wonder Woman is like, no, but that's not the truth. I'm like, what if we can change truth? Just it's just like the most like wet fart of a of like a third act. Wow, this is so powerful. It's like a reverse spirit bomb. It's like a it's like a nag bomb. Like I need everyone in the world to nag themselves and be like, no, better things aren't possible. You're right. Thank you, Wonder Woman. Yes, honey.
This isn't
It's
a plot
it's
hole.
the Wojak yes honey bomb.
Oh.
That's what she used to defeat.
It's
Pascal.
4 p.m. It's time to renounce your wish. Yes, honey.
Yes, Wonder Woman.
This isn't a plot hole. This is a plot contrivance. It could be a plot hole if you wanted to. Remember how the president said, "I wish for more nuclear weapons in Russia," and that all of a sudden like causes World War III because Russia says, "Oh no, they have more nukes than us. Launch our nukes at them." Like, what? Why? What the fuck is going on? I like had to pause the movie and I'm like, what the hell is going on? We've always had more nukes than Russia. They would never just say, they're active war. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck the world. But that aside, you see Russia launch all of their nukes, and you see the U.S. say, well, we have to retaliate and launch all of our nukes. Like, I guess. I don't know. And you see, like, when they're renouncing all their wishes and the president renounces his wish, you see all the American nukes, like, decay and dissipate. Those Russian nukes are still in flight. Those weren't part of anyone's wish.
Yeah, they just fired those bad boys.
That's you ended the
That's
world.
That's a great point. Like they just I hadn't thought about that. I guess like we're just supposed to assume that was their wish, but they didn't wish. They just launched what they had. It was the Cold War, baby. Presumably, a movie very explicitly set during the 80s would understand that, but
it would make a note that if Russia like went to DEFCON 1 or 0, I guess, since the nukes are in the air, and they're flying, like, you need a plot point to say those aren't in the air anymore. You showed the American ones, you didn't show the Russian ones.
Like, give me, like, I feel like there's so many things in this movie, not that this movie needs any more time. And it needs 0 more minutes. But perhaps some minutes that they could cut could be minutes of like, maybe the president calling, Mr. Gorbachev or whoever, like, just to be like, I renounced my wish. I've made a mistake. Terminate your missiles or something. Like
you can't. It's like you need something apocalyptic to happen to stop Russia launching all of its nukes at the U.S.
That's the thing, is it just feels like they just didn't think about that at all and just kind of expect us to go, oh yeah, sure, like whatever.
No,
but
I'm
also think like that's you don't get to say don't pay attention to this but not that. That's not how it works.
Mm-mm.
And 2, the movie on its own, aside from all of that, is still bad. It's not good. The action is not good. Like the chemistry between Gal and Steve was
it's forced.
It's way better in the first movie. Like it's just like none of the stuff that you want me to actually pay attention to carries this movie at all.
Mm-mm.
It's wild.
I was hoping this would be a bad movie.
I'm baffled they released it like this. Like how is this possible?
It got delayed several times. This was after the delays. They post-screened this movie and said good enough. Put this out there.
Like I've said this a million times, but like a lot of other movies have similar problems, like dumb shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But just some of the things happening in this movie are just like so weird on a fundamental, just how you tell a story level, that it blows my mind.
I'm
also very surprised about I feel like the reviews I read were like, it's a little weird, but we kind of need this movie right now. And I'm like, no, I need a good movie right now. I don't need a bad one.
I've been cooped up in home for, what has it been? Damn near a year. So let's say we've all been cooped up in home 9 months. That's not carte blanche excuse to just release shit. Like, I am burdened with enough good quality movies. That's why I wanted to watch this one, actually, because I heard it was shit, and I was not disappointed. Oh, man, is this a piece of trash? I think the biggest disappointment that you brought up to me, Mike, was that the director is Patty Jenkins, who's also going to be the director of the new Rogue Squadron movie, and now I've lost all faith of that movie. Like, 100%. It's in the toilet. I don't even want to watch it. Can't see Disney Plus. We're done. We're done here. If she can't, no, hear me out. If she can't respect the avionics of like jets have limits of where they can fly, and maybe someone from World War I doesn't know how to fly a Korea War airplane just by looking at it, I think she might suck at making a quality movie about flying like space planes. She might be probably really bad at that.
Yeah, I don't want to backseat direct or anything, but
no.
Again, I'm
judging this strictly on the quality of the films I've watched.
There are just a lot of this movie raises a lot of questions about DC and Warner Brothers' ability to make a movie in general that I did not have after watching Aquaman, which is also a dumb movie,
I
but it's a
haven't watched
dumb
it.
movie that doesn't make you wonder if if they went to film school or not.
Really?
Like Aquaman is a vastly superior movie to this one.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's not saying a lot.
Because Aquaman has like a story structure that makes sense. Doesn't have like weird. Doesn't make you think about like the weird ethics of like this thing that the movie just kind of wants you to laugh off. I mean, not even like laugh off. They just don't engage with it at all. Really.
Would you say worth a watch? I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. Like, you know, Birds of Prey has like is like an okay movie, but has like is saved by some good jokes and some really good fight scenes. Like the fight scenes are really great in Birds of Prey. Like Birds of Prey has like the physicality and weight that that a superhero movie should have. That is completely absent from this one.
I just looked up that Aquaman is 2 hours and 23 minutes long. I don't know if I can do this again. That is so long.
Yeah, see, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say that movie shouldn't be. That should be a shorter movie, but it also. Let's just say the third act of that movie is nuts and dumb in a way that it should be, and in a way that this and like it Aquaman is a movie that's better than its trailer and its posters.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, okay. I mean, I hope.
And this movie is not. And I think that's all. I think that's all I need to say.
I have nothing else to say about this movie besides that I regret the $15 to reopen my HBO Max subscription to watch it.
Well, I can give you. Well, you know, watch Aquaman while you got it. I guess.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
on
this
there.
movie made over $1 billion in the box office. Okay, it must be decent.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Okay.
I think one of my hold on. I'm just gonna double check something real quick here just to be sure that this is I wanna make sure this is but yeah, it's got a great cast. Patrick Wilson, Nicole Kidman, Willem Dafoe,
You're gonna do my man Jason Momoa like that, huh?
Tamura Morrison, Julie Andrews is in this movie. Like, okay, that's the funniest thing about Aquaman is that
What?
Julie Andrews is in Aquaman, but she is not, very pointedly so, in like the Mary Poppins sequel that they made that came out at the exact same time as Aquaman, which is very fucking funny to me.
Is there a Mary Poppins sequel?
Yes, it
What's
stars.
called?
It's Emily Blunt and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh my gosh, there's a movie called Mary Poppins Returns? Jeez, I've been sleeping on
It's
that.
everyone's it's the guy from everyone's favorite adventures, Hamilton. He's in the movie.
I will watch Hamilton, which I haven't watched yet, before I watch Mary Poppins Returns.
I think Hamilton's okay. It's all right.
Ooh, scathing take.
I know. Well,
I haven't watched it yet. I have no opinion.
It's okay.
Either way.
It's propaganda, but you know.
I can think of ending.
But
on
yes,
this.
you should watch Aquaman, and then we should do a Creed Got Robbed super delayed release edition of why Aquaman is good. It's not that good.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
It's a solid. It's a 6.9.
What would you give Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman 84 is like getting like a 4. Ugh. 4. It's getting a 4.
If I was to be
maybe this Aquaman is a strong 3 out of 5. Strong 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Like
all right.
It's almost 4, but it's still a 3.
Okay. All right.
It's worth a watch if you've already paid the $15.
I would give Wonder Woman, having watched it just a couple days ago, I give it a solid. If I was to give it a rating review, 1 out of 5. Uh, I was pining for that movie to be over. That's a Chris Pine joke right there. I
Look at those gams.
I lost my shit at scenes constantly where it was very clear they did not talk to anyone in the military to get certain scenes to get going, and that's shit I just can't help but notice, and I'm so sorry.
You know, if anything, I should Ray. Let me send you some articles about how much the DoD loves to talk to Hollywood, and especially about superhero movies in particular.
I'm sure they talk to them a lot.
You know, let me. Okay, just parting. This is something I saw on Twitter the other day, but someone wrote a paper about about. Let me find. Oh, this is really exciting podcast content here. But someone.
Okay, so not just military things. Also, I want to note, I couldn't get the plot of the movie. Like, I was trying to watch this. I watched this movie in the comfort of my own home. Wasn't even that inebriated. There was a couple shots of whiskey. I was really disappointed. So disappointed that we created a drinking game into when the first time you see Wonder Woman, how many times are they going to show an upskirt shot? By the way, the answer to that in the first 10 minutes is first 10 minutes is like 4 or 5. They show upskirt shots of Wonder Woman. I thought this is obscene. This isn't the type. And then there were many times when watching the movie, I was wondering, who is the audience for this movie? It's not me. I said to Mike while I was watching it, I have Justice League comics on my bookshelf right now. I know how Wonder Woman is supposed to be portrayed. This is not it. I'm not the audience for this movie. There's no way they thought, people that like Wonder Woman will like this movie. No,
that's what it feels like, yeah. Okay, but last point here to what I was saying earlier, Ray. So, Twitter user Peter J. Bruno, they wrote their master's thesis on the intersect between post 9/11 superhero movies and American Empire, and it's been downloaded, presumably for reading and commercial use, by someone at Halliburton over 75 times.
I absolutely believe that.
I just you know, I know
There's
you
not a
have
doubt in my
you have
mind.
qualms about the military accuracy of the fuel status of planes at the Smithsonian, but but these companies are absolutely talking to the military.
No, they wanted to talk to them. I guarantee they wanted to talk, but they probably just hand waved it. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. There's a constantly fully fueled twin-seat bomber sitting at the Smithsonian at any given moment to take off.
That's just American readiness, baby.
Oh my gosh.
The real secret is that we are always at DEFCON 1. You never have to go to DEFCON 1 if you're always at DEFCON 1.
That's the true secret of American readiness. Someone's finger is always circling the button, just ready, waiting for the order.
Exactly.
Okay,
We should wrap it up.
Yeah, 100%. Mike, I didn't.
I don't have
I'm
a
glad
super
I saw
clever
it.
tagline for how I was going to end this. I was going to try and get it in one final dunk.
I'm glad I saw this movie. I'm glad I saw it because I'm
glad I watched it too. I think it is a really again, kind of like I said, there are a couple of things that are uniquely bad about this movie, but it's also, I think, is just the most tired boilerplate everything that makes all superhero movies bad is present in this movie, and then this movie goes on top of that with a couple extras.
I was wondering for a long time. So after you watch Endgame, I think we all collectively as a society decided, I think we might be done with superhero movies because it's going to take a while before someone tops what Endgame built up to, right? And so after I watched Uncut Gems, I then watched Spider-Man, I think it's Far From Home.
Yeah.
And those are two completely different scales of movies. One is this very visual, small, but really well done, shockingly well done Adam Sandler movie about gambling and addiction. And another one is just
And then the other one is a movie for babies. And
it's a Spider-Man movie with Mysterio. Woo! And I that was something I needed. Like, I think I'm done with superhero movies. I think I'm done. Let's watch Wonder Woman 1984. And it's like, yeah, I'm done. We're done. I don't know when I'm ever gonna see a superhero movie on opening day or opening release ever again.
okay, I was gonna say, I was like, well, you're still watching Aquaman. So.
I'm still no opening and release. Like, yeah, Aquaman is $4 on Amazon. Yeah, I'll go watch that. I'm not gonna spend like 15, 20 plus dollars to see a superhero movie anymore. It's gonna be a while because I'm done with that boilerplate. Maybe I'm getting older, but I'm done with the formula.
It really, it's not that like genre tropes can't be a thing. If anything, genre tropes I think can be utilized as like storytelling shorthand. Like when it's a trope for like a villain's music to be in like minor key or use like scary tritones or stuff. Like that's a trope, but people use it because it's effective storytelling shorthand. But all of these things are just so like off the mill now that it is. It's just we can't. It's like no, we really are not going to do another decade of this, right? Like really.
You can't. Like, that's it. Marvel did it. It's done.
Well,
everyone else is just like trying and it's not working.
I know. Well, we just need this. The 2020's got to be the decade that Fast and Furious overtakes. We got to do it. Like those are basically superhero movies at this point anyway.
Bless you people that love Fast and Furious movies. Fast and Furious. I haven't seen one since Tokyo Drift. And I think
Ray, I'm just living my life a quarter mile at a time, baby.
Oh my gosh.
You know how I go.
Oh my goodness. But there's a fan base for them. Those movies make like $500 million each release, so
yeah, because they're sick. They're so good.
Stop it.
They're good.
I believe
I'm a defender of Taco Bell movies. AKA,
is this a Taco Bell movie?
A Taco Bell is not a filet mignon. But at the right time and place, it is exactly what you want and is objectively good as hell.
What is Wonder
Woman?
That
being said,
this is a Taco Bell?
It hurts all the more when a movie saying I'm a Taco Bell movie fucking sucks. Like this movie. And not even like a fun way, and like the most boring way possible.
What's lower than Taco Bell?
Boy.
Think like someone said.
I might get some heat for this, but I had some. I can't remember what the partner is, but it's inside the Hardee's. It's like the Mexican menu, of Hardee's.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, it's delicious, but it will kill you.
Okay, I got it. I got the equivalent. Your partner says, I'm going to bring some Taco Bell home. And you're like, oh, yeah, good. I'm going to have like a gordita or chalupa or some hard tacos. About to just throw the fuck down.
Yes.
And then they're like, they come home. They don't have Taco Bell. They got the tacos from Jack in the Box. That's Wonder Woman 1984.
No. We have tacos at home. Man, that's an insult to home tacos, though.
That's what I mean. Like, you would have rather just made some fucking tacos at home than getting tacos from Jack in the Box. When Jack in the Box is talking about $1 for two tacos.
Do yourself a favor. Just watch the first Wonder Woman movie.
Which is good.
Change the color settings on your TV so it looks more like the 80s, I guess. I don't know.
The first one, I want to get that out of the way. The first Wonder Woman movie that they released in like 2018 or something like that, 2017, really good.
Like, I'm pretty sure we actually have to end this here soon, but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure the only reason this movie is set in the 80s is so they could use that New Order song during the trailer. That's like 100. The rest of it is just a gimmick.
I mean, there is the whole like Cold War thing that they don't follow through with.
Yeah,
At all.
that's just not a key to the movie in any real way, though. Again, like
No, not really.
when the Black Ops campaign has more to do with the setting of the movie. Like, if you're gonna call your movie Wonder Woman 84, like, I guess I assume, being the big dumb stupid person that I am, is that the movie might have something to say about the themes and dynamics of 80s America. Maybe like maybe pinning it to more of a, maybe it just feels like, I know I said we were gonna end like 5 times ago, but like, one thing I think that this movie really lacks is just like a really kind of core thematic base that that really kind of ties it all together. And I really thought that like setting like using Maxwell lore, like this wish dynamic, like maybe have some sort of like I think a better version of this movie, talks about like maybe tries to thematically stab at like the excess and like the height of American empire of the 80s.
You're asking so much from this.
I
piece of
am
shit
asking.
movie.
I know. Good movies do a lot, so we should ask that of them when if they want to make a good movie. Like maybe like just you don't even need to make it a whole treatsier thing on that. Like maybe tie more of that like the fulfillment of every wish you could ever want, and then and not know that there's a cost to that. Like maybe have some sort of fabric that really ties that into the setting of what a message like that means when you set it in the 1980s. And that dynamic is just that's just not something the movie wants to engage in at all. Like, so it's like, it just kind of makes the 80s like setting, in my opinion, very gimmicky. It's pointless. Like it's for like a couple gags and some cool outfits.
Conspiracy theory. This
Yes.
entire movie is a excuse to tell the audience how Wonder Woman learned to fly because she flew in Justice League and she didn't in the first Wonder Woman movie.
I'm so tired, man. I can't do it.
He's gone, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
can't do it. I'm done. Good night.
That's my conspiracy theory. I'm sticking with it.
Very good. Well, why don't we end it there, Ray?
Okay.
Thanks for joining me. And until next time, don't forget that Creed got robbed.